Today on the CTV News at 5.
I think it's mildly insulting for the people of Lethbridge.
The fallout continues from Lethbridge being left out of Redford's cabinet. What the city's MLAs are saying. Plus,
Chief Thomas Matthew Mackenzie.
Lethbridge's police chief is honored in Ottawa. And
I do think it is possible.
could there be a real-life potion for love?
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Lethbridge's mayor called it a slap in the face to Southern Alberta when the premier unveiled her cabinet yesterday with no portfolios being handed down to local MLAs. But today, both Bridget Pasteur and Greg Weddick were back in their offices sorting out the details of their new roles within the Redford government. Daryl Rummold reports.
Greg Weddick was back in his constituency office on Wednesday, ready to embrace his new role within the provincial government as the Associate Minister with Municipal Affairs, dealing directly with medium-sized cities. He says the cabinet realignment is simply a new way of doing business.
Well, you know, I was very disappointed, of course, to lose advanced education because it's been such a wonderful portfolio. It fit very well with me, and we've made some incredible strides, but I also felt that we left the ministry in extremely good shape.
Weddick says he's proud of what he was able to accomplish in his time as Minister of Advanced Education and Technology, but looks forward to a new challenge. But that optimism isn't exactly shared. His office fielded dozens of phone calls and emails. It all sounded a little like this.
I think it's mildly insulting for the people of Lethbridge. I think especially after Greg Weddick's yeomanship work in his prior position.
It's disappointing, but I guess there's not much we can do about it now.
Even Lethbridge's former mayor, who openly threw his support behind NDP candidate Shannon Phillips during the election, says he's confused by the move.
I'm really very surprised. I don't know what the strategy is, particularly given the fact that Lethbridge has the only progressive conservative members south of Calgary. It just really baffles me.
A sentiment shared by his successor now inside City Hall.
It's hard for me to fathom the decision-making process that was involved in doing that. Now, I appreciate there's a limited number of ministers, but again, PCs south of Calgary are few and far between. In fact, two of them, and neither of which is now a minister.
And I don't believe that Southern Alberta will be shortchanged just because they don't have a minister. Yes, it's wonderful to have one, no question. But they're not going to be shortchanged because we don't have them.
Both Lethbridge MLAs say while they may not hold cabinet positions, they were tasked with very significant roles within the Redford government. They say the concerns of Southern Albertans will still be voiced, even if they have to speak a little bit louder to be heard. Daryl Rummold, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Meanwhile, economic development Lethbridge officials say they're also surprised by the lack of representation in Premier Redford's cabinet.
Greg and Bridget have both worked really hard over the years to represent Lethbridge, and now we had an opportunity, I think, in this part of Southern Alberta to participate in a new government that is trying to set a new strong direction. And it's disappointing. I think that's really unfortunate that we don't see that cabinet membership.
Pasteur and Weddick will return to Edmonton on the 15th. Okay, Dory, you've been preparing us for this. Sunny today, gone tomorrow.
I know, it's like 2 seasons at least in 1 week, right? That's just the way this month has been, and April has been that way as well. So just prepare for 1 day, maybe a little longer than that, of inclement weather, really stretching over, maybe a 24-hour period, and then we'll be out of it. Into sunshine for the weekend just in time. Wait till you see the 5-day forecast looking very, very nice. I'll have more details in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. Well, the case of a Claresholm woman charged in connection with the murder of a Vulcan senior was back before the courts this morning, but the accused wasn't, and neither was her lawyer. 28-year-old Bobby Joe Parks is charged with obstruction of justice. The charges are related to the death of 77-year-old Otto Bunty Luce. His dismembered remains were found near Claresholm in January. Parks's lawyer is out of the country, so another lawyer filled in. Parks's boyfriend, Tim Engel, is charged with second-degree murder, kidnapping, and forcible confinement in the senior's death. Both cases have been set over to May the 30th. And the case of a 13-year-old Fort Macleod boy charged with attempted murder and arson was also back before the courts today. On March 10th, firefighters pulled a 17-year-old boy from a burning home in Fort Macleod. The teen was airlifted to Calgary with life-threatening head and neck injuries where he underwent surgery. RCMP say the teenager was the victim of a violent attack at the home before the fire started. The 13-year-old accused was living with the family at the time. The youth recently completed a 30-day psychiatric and medical assessment. He'll return to court for a bail hearing on May 23rd. Parks Canada wardens and Alberta Fish and Wildlife are investigating a poaching incident. It happened on April 6th or 7th along the Chief Mountain Highway. Officials say someone shot and killed a black bear that was hibernating in its winter den on provincial land. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Report a Poacher line at 1-800-642-3800. Well, the chief of the Lethbridge Regional Police Service was recognized today in Ottawa with one of the policing department's highest honors.
Chief Thomas Matthew Mackenzie.
Police Chief Tom Mackenzie is now invested into the Order of Merit of Police Forces from Canada's Governor General. The order is awarded on exceptional merit, contributions to policing and community. Chief Mackenzie has over 30 years' experience with the Lethbridge Regional Police Service. Recipients are first nominated and then selected by a panel made up of members of the Canadian Association of the Chiefs of Police and the Governor General's office. Governor General David Johnston said each of the 34 recipients recognized today have made immeasurable impacts on their communities.
All of you being honored here today represent the very best of police services across this country at every level. Throughout your careers, you've put the needs of others ahead of your own. I've often spoken of building a smart and caring nation where all Canadians play a part in strengthening our society.
The Order of Merit is the only award within Canada reserved solely for members of police forces. Lethbridge College has shut down their campus for the rest of the day because of a power outage. All classes are cancelled for the night and physical education facilities have been closed up. However, the daycare will remain open until parents pick up their children. Crews are working to fix the problem. The college will update the situation on their website. And the Lethbridge Public School Board will present their draft budget later this month. Parents, students and staff as well as members of the public are invited to the presentation. The Board of Trustees will break down the budget and then talk about their priorities for the upcoming school year. The meeting is being held May 22nd. It runs from 6:30 until 8 at the Education Center on 15th Street South. And tonight is a good night to grab some friends, head downtown and have dinner while taking in some local history. The Taste of Downtown features sample items from 18 Lethbridge restaurants and cafes as well as other businesses. The popular event has sold out since it started in 2004 and tonight's no exception. During the culinary experience walking tour, people get a chance to taste the best that downtown has to offer and learn about the history of local buildings.
They can expect a really good time down here in downtown Lethbridge tonight, going through 18 different businesses, anywhere from the Owl Acoustic Lounge to right behind us at the Round Street Cafe, tasting things of what various businesses have to offer. LA School of Hair Design is giving out free shampoo tonight. There's going to be some music playing at Pharmasave and over at the 10,000 Villages. Just a real good time for people to come out.
And proceeds from tonight's Taste of Downtown is going to the Galt Museum and Archives. Lethbridge is continuing to prove itself to be a destination point for major organization gatherings. The Shriners are the latest group to choose Lethbridge as the site for their annual convention. The event goes next summer and will bring nearly 400 delegates and their families to town. Economic Development Lethbridge says the event should bring over $600,000 into the local economy over the course of the 4-day event.
There's another whole element of family festivities that everyone from Lethbridge and the surrounding area can come out and participate in. So they have competitions on clowns and oriental bands, and they have family festivities that go on. And I just think it's a great opportunity for Lethbridge to come together and celebrate something that's a little bit unique and different for us.
The fraternity, based on Masonic principles, has been hosting conventions across North America for more than 100 years. Well, expect the commercials you see during your favorite TV shows to start getting a little quieter. Networks have until September to bring the volume on their ads down to the same levels as their shows. The CRTC, Canada's broadcast regulator, published its final set of rules yesterday. They require broadcasters to follow international standards for monitoring TV signals. The crackdown comes after the Commission received a flood of complaints from Canadians. On the markets today, the uncertainty of the European debt crisis continued to push markets down. Here's a look at the final numbers.